Greetings, all. Monty Royal checking in with you. I wanted to share a story, a funny story about a guy I knew, and he, I, t- it, I turned a wild man, a man that was completely wild, into. Well, I didn't do it, but I inspired this man to do better for himself, and I want to explain this story. I was living out in the Mojave Desert, and there's a guy. I was like looking for I was looking for some cannabis. Okay, so that's how the story starts. So I was looking for this cannabis, and there's this guy. He looked like a wild man. He had just shorts on. He was all tan. His name was Bill. He had wild hair, gray beard. He's like tanned out, big dude with just shorts on. I don't even think he had sandals. He might have had sandals on. And broken down trailer all fucked up. He had like nine beagles, or Basset hounds. He had like outrageous number of Basset hounds in his place. Okay, and he had a tiny little plot of land. It was just it's the desert. The Mojave Desert is a different place. Okay, and anyway, so I take the chance, and it could have been I could have gotten my ass kicked just for like asking him a question. I'm in a new place, and so I'm like, hey, you know where to get any bud from? And he stopped. He looked at me kind of crazily, and then he was like, yeah, I actually have a medical card, and there's a shop up the highway. And I was like, okay. And so he hooked me up. I gave him a ride up there. And so I got to know Bill more, and we're hanging out because he lived just a few blocks from where I lived. And his whole trailer was broken down and nasty. His trailer he was living in a trailer. It was split in half. And the thing should have been condemned. And it's just kind of how it was. And he was on Xanax, so that made him like really complacent with what he was doing. And that Xanax, that's a crazy drug. And well, his place was infested with roaches too. He would get on the Basset Hound network, and the Basset Hound network would like send him food money for the Basset Hounds, and so he had a network of people that were helping him out. Anyways, yeah, if the Basset Hound network hears about this, they probably know exactly who I'm talking about. Anyways, so he was so as our friendship progressed, and I would visit him regularly, and I actually hang out with him for a little bit, and his place was filled with roaches. It was just like the nastiest place, and the little plot of land was just infested with pee. And anyways, I started giving him a ride to the grocery store too. And one time, he bought like these sausages and tortilla rolls, and as soon as he sat down in his house, he like had wrapped up a tortilla and a sausage, and he ate it immediately. Sausage was still raw. I was just like, oh yeah, man, this guy's for real. And his place was so dirty, and I think I brought it to his attention, and he started cleaning, but I don't know why he was adopted, and I don't know his whole story. Okay, but he was a cool guy. We got along. We talked. He told me that he's like, usually people that walk by, I don't pay him any attention, but for some reason he was actually a very well-spoken guy. That was the weird part about it, because it was like he looked like a complete wild man, but like Bill. And when we started talking, he spoke so eloquently, and like um I don't think he had had anyone to talk to or hang out with in a long, long time that kind of was, you know where he was kind of, that he could kind of be himself with. I don't, well, at least see that side of himself. And so yeah, it was great. He started talking more, and he was like telling me, he was like, "Yeah, man, this being on Xanax and caught up in a rut. You're on Social Security disability, and you're on Xanax all the time, and got the dog." And he like when his dogs would be barking, he would be like, "Shut up!" He'd scream like that, and so like, and he was always dirty. He was always a little dirty. I remember when he got in my car, I always had to wipe it down because he's like extra greasy, like oily. And but it was like he was like a wild man. And so we I got him more into socializing, and he resorted right back to where he was, because like he was like a caveman, interacting with a caveman. If you like saw him, he'd be like he'd like watch out the corner of his eye and stuff, because I'm pretty sure I've seen him before in the neighborhood. And it was just like he was like in such a low state and didn't care about anything. And once we kind of stopped hanging out or something, but by that time he was cleaning his place. And and then I see him a few months later, and he's all cleaned up and stuff. I walked my dogs to the same park every day for like years over there. And one day he just happened to cross my path, and I was like, dude, he looked great. He looked really good. He told me he met a woman, and she was like helping him out, and like she was apparently had some money, and she gave him an RV and stuff, and he was living in some new property, and things were going like his whole life seemed like it changed. And but it's just wild. I'm glad things like the more I didn't hear from him, I feel like the better things got for him on the other end. So, because the last time I saw him, I walked into him, I was like, whoa, whoa. He was like all cleaned up and taking good care of himself. So, it was just a funny story. And yeah, weed brought it all together, you know?